Okay, I think that's better. Don't know what was wrong with it, but hopefully it will behave. Okay, so if you watched my shell hunting video from the Canaveral National Seashore, I found these pieces on there, and we're going to attempt today to make a pendant and a pair of earrings out of them. Now, let me just clarify. This is a bit of an experimental video, so I have not done this. I'm trying it out, and I'm hoping it works out, but it's going to be some trial and error along the way. If you don't like that, then this is not the video for you. Just to let you know. Because I always get these complaints, you know, or people say I talk too much. Well, this is a talking channel. If you don't like that, then move on. But we do talk on here and we do experiment. So that's what we're doing today. We're going to experiment with these pieces, see what we can make out of them. I think it'll be fun. So I have a few tools here. This is a glass cutter. This little thing. This is for cutting mosaic glass. And I am going to try to cut the seashells with it. I don't know if it'll work, but I figure if it cuts glass without breaking it, it might cut seashells without breaking them. And we're going to give it a try. If it doesn't work, then it doesn't work, and we'll know that it doesn't work. I have a couple of hand drills. So this is a hand drill. I got this on Amazon, and this is a hand drill. This is a spring-loaded one. I have not tried this yet, but I'm going to try it today because I think it would be easier, but this may not work on seashells. It may only work on resin. This I know works on seashells, so we're going to try those. I have some sea glass here. I was trying to figure out a way to put a hole in this sea glass, and I can't figure out a way to do that. So we're going to glue a bail to it because I am afraid to try to drill a hole in it. I just am afraid I will break it. And then I've got a couple little charms, one for the pendant, two for the earrings. I have an assortment of pearls, different sizes, different colors. All these little pearls. We're going to see, we're just going to experiment and play around a little bit today. I have some chain. I have some cute little spacer beads. These are little saucer spacers. These are on my website if you're interested. They're really cute and they're tiny. I like them. I have a couple of shell beads that are really pretty. I have a big 12mm jump ring for the pendant. I have some smaller jump rings here. I have some ball head pins. I have some E6000, and then I'm going to be pulling out some ear wires, but I haven't done that yet. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our E6000, and I'm going to go ahead and glue this bail on so it can be drying. So my toothpick is, this is how I do E6000. I just lay it on a little baggie, and mine desperately needs cleaned up. I mean, it is, my tube here is just a real big mess. But I put it on here, I get a little bit out on my toothpick, and then I stick the lid back on really quickly, and that's why my tube is all messed up. But the lid, if you don't, it's going to leak out everywhere, and then you just lose a bunch of glue. So I'm just going to, I've got some dried glue on there. I don't want that on there. I need a little bit more. I'm just going to put some glue, a pretty generous amount here on the back of my little bezel, or my little bail, not a bezel. And I'm going to set that aside for a minute. And I'm just going to glue the piece of sea glass right on there. Turn it upside down. Just going to push that in. And don't worry about the glue that seeps out the sides. We'll take care of that after it's dry, okay? So then we're just going to set that aside and let it do its thing. Now, I am going to try this. See if this will cut the seashell. So you put it in here and you just press, and it is not, see, these kind of come apart so you can cut your glass, and there's no way to get them to go together any more than that. So the seashell is too thin. So hold on, I have another tool I'm going to try. Just a minute. Okay, so these are all of my glass tools that I work with, the mosaics. Now this one is the same thing. This one cuts ceramic, but I don't know again if it is, if it'll work on this. We're going to try it. and it's just not, it's this kind of the same thing as the glass. Oh, okay, no, it does work. Well, it shattered one part of it, but it left this other part. Let me try it here. Oh, okay. So this is not going to work very good for the earring pieces. Hold on, let me grab some more seashell. Okay, so if you were wanting to make small little earrings, that actually would work okay, because it does shatter it into little pieces. But I want them to be a little bit bigger, so I'm just going to set these aside. And I do have a plan C. So let me see if I can find another piece in here that would work. I have a lot of pieces of earring, or of little flat scallops that might work for earrings in here, so here's a couple. Those don't really match. Let me find another one. Hopefully I have another one that'll match that one. Here's a... I have to dump it out up here. So I have a lot of pieces of these flat scallops. I love to pick them up. I just think they're beautiful. And you just have to kind of sort through and see what you have that might work. So I'd like to get some with those same colored dots if I have another one, but I may not. I may have to go with something else for this. Yeah, that doesn't really do it. We'll see. If I don't, I don't. It's not a big deal. Yeah, I don't really see another one that's going to match it that well. So probably what we'll do then is just go for just the cream color in them. So I'm going to put that one aside. I'll use it with something else. I have this one. So if I could cut like right in here, I have this one. If I could cut this one in half, it actually would work pretty good. Or I don't know, maybe the pieces that I actually cut up would work. They're just small. But there's one with the lines in it. That's the hard part really, is finding matching things. Okay, here's a good one. So this one, if I can cut in half, will work. So here's my plan C. This is a glass scoring tool right here. And you're supposed to be able to take this on the glass and just score it like this. And I'm just going to try it on the shell. And I don't know if it's going to work or not, obviously, but if I can score this shell like I score the glass, then you take it and you just break it, and you take these pliers and do it. So we'll see if it works. I've got it scored there pretty well, I think. I'm going to take my pliers on either side of the score and try to just break it. And it worked. Okay, so a glass scoring tool is pretty good for this. I got this on Amazon. If you buy it, you do have to buy this oil that goes inside of it. And if you can see, it's got this little wheel right here. And it scores your glass and scores your shells. And then you can break it with these pliers. So these glass cutting tools are really kind of nice. The glass cutter and the ceramic tile breaker didn't really work, but they may on thicker shells. I don't know. But the scorer worked pretty good. So I'm going to set that aside. Okay, so here's what we have. Now we need to drill some holes. And this one, I tried to decide, do I want to try to file? You can use sandpaper and file these down. Do I want to try to file this into a better line? You have to decide how you want to hang it. And I think I want to hang mine like this. So I might try to sand this down. Let me grab the sandpaper. Okay, so I have a sanding block here and like 1,000 different pieces of different grips of sandpaper. And you really should wear a mask if you're going to sand these seashells down. I have just a little regular mask on like I use when I'm working with resin and stuff. And I'm just going to take this sandpaper because it's a higher grit and I need something a little more. And I'm just going to run the shell on it right here. on this kind of jagged part. And you do want to wear a mask because seashell dust is not good to breathe, okay? So don't take any chances. So we can file this down or sand it down to make a smoother line right here and make it look a little bit better. So let me pause it so you don't have to listen to me do this and sand it down a little bit, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I've filed that down and made a horrible mess on my bead mat. But it's fairly smooth here now, and we're going to be gluing some pearls, so I'm not going to worry about getting it completely straight. But this is how I'm going to hang it. So now I'm going to take my hand drill, and I'm just going to make a hole here. So I go down a little ways. I don't want to crack the shell. If you're up too close to the edge, you're going to crack it. And I'm going to try this one, but I think, honestly, I think this is something that I'm going to have to use on resin. I don't think this is going to work on, yeah, it's not. So I'm going to use my faithful old trusty hand drill. And this takes a few minutes because it's kind of hard work, but actually it's going through it pretty quick. And what I do is you got to put pressure on it and twist it. I know you can't see very well, but there's really no other way that I can do this. So you just kind of twist, 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 twist. And as you can see, it's starting to make a little hole in there. And if you keep on going, you want to use a thick enough bit. If you use too thin of a bit, you will crack it. And I do have Chris's drill here, and sometimes I use it. So let me pull it out. On the thicker shells, you can use the drill, but you have to be awfully careful and go slow. But yeah, you can use the drill on the thicker shells. And you'll feel like when it gets to the point where it's about to go through, I stop and use the hand drill again. So as you can see, it's starting to make the hole. So I just keep going. Okay, now I can feel it starting to go through. So, whoops, sorry, I knocked the camera. So I'm going to take the hand drill and finish it because I don't want to crack it. Okay, and there we have our little hole. And again, just kind of be gentle with it until you can get the drill all the way through. Just be easy because you don't want to crack it. There we go. So there's the hole. Perfect little hole. So that's pretty awesome right there. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to hang our sea glass and a starfish, and then we're going to glue some pearls on. So let's grab the pearls. I'm going to go ahead and put my jump ring through here and hang my other things on, I think, just so I can see how they're going to go. Now, he'll have to hang on a jump ring on there because we have a bail on him. So let me close this up. I think this is going to be really cool looking. Okay, so there's our jump ring. Now let's go ahead and hang the sea glass on. I'm going to use a smaller jump ring for that. Just like a 6mm or 8mm smaller one. Okay, and I'm being gentle with this. I think the E6000 is dried enough to where it's not going to, it'll stay on there, but I'm still being kind of gentle with it. It completely, well, I was, It completely sets up in 24 hours, but it gets kind of, you know, to where you can work with it here pretty quickly. So there that is. I'm glad I didn't get it off of there because that jump ring was thick. It didn't want to close. Still not closed all the way. There we go. Okay, and you could use the back of this too. The back is very pretty, but I just like these spots on the front. I think they're cool. Okay, so now let's go ahead and hook him on, our little starfish. And again, I'm just going to grab a jump ring or two. Probably jump ring him right to that. It's so hard to film in this house, I'm telling you. Chris works from home, and you would think he would be in his office most of the day doing work from home type things, but it seems like every time I put a video on, we get doors slamming and all kinds of noise. So, or every time I try to film. Okay, so there we go. We have our little starfish. We've got our sea glass. It's kind of cute. Now, what I'm wanting to do is I'm actually wanting to glue a pearl on here and some pearls down the side here in a little cluster. So I like this color with it and this color with it. And I like the dark brown and maybe even this pretty cream. So let's dump some of these out. And when you glue your pearls on, you want to glue them to where you can't see the holes. Okay, so let's grab our E6000 back up here. My wonderful toothpick. And I'm just going to, first of all, I'm going to glue the little pearl on the end here. I just wanted to put one on there. I think it'd be super cute. So I'm just going to do a small one. Just a tiny little pearl right there on the end. Yeah, that is cute. I may do a couple actually, but that one looks good right there. Yeah, I'll do one more. Just so it doesn't look like it's out there all by itself. Let's use this one. And again, you want to try to get it to where the holes don't show. Don't worry if your E6000 is up around here. Like I said, we'll take care of that. You can pull that right off after it dries. It'll come off of there. So I'm just going to wipe a little bit of it off. There we go. So we got those there. And what I want to do is down this side, I just kind of want to make a cluster of pearls. So I'm just going to put a line of E6000 all down through here. Pretty generous with it, because you want them to stay. And then I'm going to take my pearls and I'm just going to set them here in the glue. Push them down so they're kind of, and I'm clustering them. So I'm going to do some big ones, some small ones. I just want to have just a cluster of them all along here. And like I said, I'm being quite generous with the glue. And you do need to try to lay that flat or they're going to roll down. I really need something else to pick these up with. I can use this. And just clustering them up. I think I'll put one right here on top even. Let's do a brown one. No, he's too big. Let's push him down. There we go, that works. And like I said, I'm just kind of stacking them and almost really just letting them kind of go where they go. You know, when I stick it on, if it falls to the side, I'm just letting it fall to the side. But I think that this is really cool. I've seen people do this on other jewelry and on picture frames, and I like the way it looks. I like the big cluster of pearls. Just like this. So we're just going to go all the way down the side with them. The little one can go right there. I'm going to scoot those up a little. I've got glue going everywhere now. Grab a little bit more glue. I need something right in here. All right. I like the way that looks. It just looks so organic. I mean, it looks like what it reminds me of. We watched Pirates of the Caribbean the other night. Those are some of my favorite movies. I love them. And it reminds me of the people on, if you've ever watched that movie, I know you're going to think this is crazy, but it reminds me of the people on Davy Jones's ship, how they're all kind of turning into ocean creatures and they've got things growing on them. And for some reason, this is what it makes me think of, but I love that movie. All right. And we're just gonna just kind of do it like that. It's looking good, I think. Let's set one right here. Let's get a little one in there. All right. I kind of like the way that looks. I might leave it like that. I may add one more little one down here to the bottom, right there. Actually, I may stick one more in here just to give it a little more oomph. There we go. Stick him in there. Okay, that I like. So, let's pull this around just so we can see how things are going to hang. And that is what it's going to look like. Well, we don't want him falling off the end here. I need to keep it flat. They are rolling off the end, so keep it flat until they dry, or at least until the E6000 sets up. It sets up in about 20 minutes. I don't know, it gets kind of tacky in about 10 minutes, so just be careful with how things are and don't let them all slide off the end of your piece like mine are doing. So I'm just going to try to flatten this, hold it like this, and just watch them, and if they're sliding off, I'm just going to push them back on, okay? So I feel like I need a brown pearl on here. Let me see. I don't have any really tiny brown ones, but I may stick a big brown one right there and just see how it looks. Yeah, that's good. I like that. Okay, so we are just going to let this set up, because they are rolling around on here like crazy. Get up on there. And what you can do to combat that, which is what I should have done, is you can set your E6000, you can put your E6000 on here, just like I'm going to add a couple more back here. So I can just put my E6000 on here. I could let it sit for a few minutes. I'm not going to, but I could. I should probably, but I'm not going to. Let it sit for a few minutes and then come in with my pearls, and then it'll kind of be set a little, but I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to go ahead and put them on because I'm not a patient person at all. Not when it comes to making things. But I want this edge to be covered up pretty good. So I'm just going to put a few more in here like that. Okay. And then we're just going to let it do its thing. Let it get nice and set. So I'm going to set this down here. I'm just trying to set it there so that they won't roll around too much. Okay. Now we have our earring pieces. So we have a couple options here. We could drill holes in them and hang them from fish hooks, which I think is what I'm going to do. Or we could glue them on studs, but I think that I want them to be dangly. And I am going to take my let me move these pearls all the way. I am going to take my sandpaper and just sand them a little bit smooth on the edges where I broke them apart. So I'm not going to do anything major, but I just don't want them to be super sharp. So just taking this and just filing down those edges a little bit, just so they're not going to really poke anybody. That one especially was kind of sharp. Okay, I think they're good. This one might use a little bit on the side there. Yeah, that piece is kind of sharp on the side there. There we go. That's better. Okay, so here they are. Now, you can drill your holes the same way in these pieces as you did in the other one. You just take your hand drill. Probably won't use the drill on these because they're the electric drill on these because they're a little bit more fragile, I think. But just going to take the hand drill. And just go through. These shouldn't be as hard to get through as the others, but you can see it starting to form the little hole right there. And I am putting quite a bit of pressure on it, especially here in the beginning, because it needs to start to go through the shell. Now, as it gets through the shell, I lessen up quite a bit on the pressure because I don't want to break the shell, but you can see it starting to go through. So I'm going to pause the video and I'm going to drill a hole in both of these and then I'll be back. Okay, so I tried to go ahead and use the hand drill on this. It was really hard. So I decided I was going to use the electric drill and I broke it. So I have not, I'm not having much success with the earring pieces, but I think what you have to do is you have to find pieces on the beach that kind of match each other, that are already, you can't really do a whole lot of manipulation to these smaller pieces because they just crack. So what I'm doing now is I'm just laying out all the smaller pieces that I have, and I'm going to see if I have a couple that match up. So in the seashell bags that I sell on my website, I have tons of these little pieces in there. So, or not tons, but there's some, you know, these little pieces are in there. So if you want to try to make these earrings, you probably will have something that will match up. See, those are pretty close. They don't have to be perfect. I mean, seashells are organic, and people are, I don't think people really expect them to match just perfectly. You want them to match closely, but perfectly, probably not. So I'm just looking for if I have any little pieces that will go together to make these earrings. And I mean, those two are the closest match so far. Actually, these two aren't too bad. So I just kind of lay them out here like this and I'll look at them. I don't really want to try to break any more of them because I did that. I tried scoring again and it just, you know, they break apart too easy, these smaller pieces. Now those two, look at this. So these two, I know they're just kind of blob shaped, but they actually might work as earrings because they're similar. Now if I could get that piece off, then it would really work. Maybe I could file that piece down. I'm going to try that. I'm going to try to file this. I'm going to use this one, I think, and try to file down this little bump right here that's sticking out. And if I could file him down, then I think this would make a close enough match to make the earrings. So let me mute the camera so you don't have to listen to that. But I'm going to try to file that little bump down just a little. Okay, so I didn't get it totally off, but it's filed down enough to where I think these are going to match. Now, my thing is, do I want to try to drill through these again with the hand drill, which I could do, but it takes a long time and a lot of work. Or do I just want to glue on it a bail like I did on this piece of sea glass? So let me look at this situation over here. think it's looking kind of cute. I may even, I don't know if I'm going to put any more pearls on. It's got enough, I think. And they're looking pretty good. So there's our pendant piece. I am going to put some pearls on these earring pieces as well as the starfish hanging down. I think I'm just going to glue a bell. Let me grab a couple bells. Okay, so you definitely can drill through these with your hand drill. It does take quite a bit of patience and is hard work. So I'm going to go the easy route right now, and I'm going to glue these bells on with E6000. Because honestly, I have a smooth surface to glue onto. And just press it down there. And I have a pretty, you know, level playing field right here to glue it to. So it's not like that it's going to be hard to get it on there and make it look right. It'll be fine. See that? So I'm going to do that. Now, if you want to drill yours, by all means, work at it. You can do it, but it's just, yeah, it takes a while. So we're going to let that dry. Or let that set up. And then I will come back and we'll finish the earrings and the necklace. But let's give everything a chance to set up with the glue and then come on back. Okay, so these are on strong enough now to where I can finish the earrings. And I will show you, I revamped the pearls on the pendant just a bit. I just felt like they were too thick over here, so I thinned them out a little. I put 3 down here at the bottom. So here's what this looks like. And you don't have to use the pearls at all if you don't want to. You know, you could just leave it just completely unpearled. But I kind of like it. I think it's cute. I think it adds to it. So there's our pendant. I'm just going to lay it there for a minute. We're going to work on the earrings. Now, I am going to do a couple pearls on the earrings just because I want them to match the pendant. So down here in the very corner, I think I'm just going to do 1 or 2 of the smaller ones. So I'm just going to put the glue on here and just let it set for a minute until it gets a little bit set up. And then I'm going to take probably these 8mm jump rings. I think would be a good size for this. They're hooked together. My older son one time decided that, I don't know why he did it, but he decided that he was going to hook all my jump rings together. So he spent a long time, and I didn't realize he was doing it, hooking all of my jump rings to each other, which, let's just say that was not necessary at all. And he could have not done that, and I'd have been perfectly happy. All right, so what we've got here is we have the jump ring. If we hang it on like this, it's going to hang sideways. So I'm going to put the jump ring on each one of these little charms, and then we're going to add another smaller jump ring to hang it by so it'll hang the correct direction. I've got glue all over my hands right now. Okay, so we've got those. I'm going to find a little jump ring, not too small, probably 6mm, because it has to be able to go around the bail right there. So let's see, I should have another one in here. But yeah, he did that, hooked all my jump rings together, and still to this day I'm finding jump rings that are hooked together because of him. That boy is currently in school to become a space engineer, and he says he's going to buy me a beach house one day, so we'll see how that goes. I'll forgive him for hooking all my jump rings together if he does that. All right. Let's get this one closed up. There's what we have. And I'm just going to stick one tiny pearl right there. Just like that. Okay? Same thing on this other one. And I'm honestly debating taking the pearls off the other one because I can't decide if I like them or not. I kind of think I do, but then I'm like, I don't know. I think they're a lot. So let's put this one on here. Whoops. I do like just one or two, but I may take the whole. We'll look at it and see here for just a second. And that's what you do when you design jewelry. Sometimes you change things up. Okay, so there's our little earrings. And get some of this glue off my hands. So let's let them sit for a minute. And let's look at this situation here. I don't know. I'm just not really liking all of these pearls. So I'm going to pull them off. You can do this with E6000, thankfully. I'm just going to take them all off of here. I am going to get them off my bead mat so they don't glue themselves to it. And I'm even going to take them off of here. So with E6000, the good thing about it is is kind of like rubber cement in that you can pull it off. And when it's dry, you can pull it completely off. So this is not completely dry yet, but I can take it and just rub this and it will come completely off of here. My whole piece came off now. Yep, that wasn't dried all the way. I was messing with it too much. So just stick it back on, stick your bail back on if that happens. Just be careful, don't be like me. So there we have it, and I think I'm just going to glue the one pearl on the bottom of this piece here. And then I'm just going to take some paper towels and go ahead and wipe this off. Let me grab some paper towels. Okay, so I'm just pulling this E6000 right off of here with the paper towels. And it will rub off until it's completely set up. You can do this. So if you make a mistake that you don't like, just pull it apart, you know. Take your E6000 off. There we go. So that's that. I'm going to put my little, I've got glue everywhere now. I'm so messy with it. I'll probably have to re-glue this. I should have been a little more careful. I forgot about it being glued on there, to be honest with you. Okay, so now here's what we've got. I think the pearls were just too much. There's situations where they look really good. This was not one of them. The more I put on, and then I tried to rearrange it, and I didn't like that either. So I'm going to put one right here. Just one little simple one, like we have on our earrings. Whoops. You do want to try to get the hole to where it's not sticking straight out in the front. Okay. You know what? I like that better. I just do. It is not so crazy. I may put one here just for the fun of it. Let's see. Just a tiny one. So one of these little guys. Yep. I'm liking that a whole lot better. I don't even know about that one. I think I'm going to take them back off. Okay. So that's what you do when you're designing jewelry. It is trial and error. You put things on, you don't like them, you take them off, you switch them around. That's just the way it works. So I am going to let all of this set up and dry, and then we will come back, we will put on our ear wires and our chain, and we'll finish it. So, you know, it is a little trial and error when you're figuring it out, but now I know. Here's what we learned today. We learned that these flat pieces of scallop are a little difficult to cut, but you can file them. But to drill them, it takes a while and a lot of energy. So I would rather glue on bails. That's one other thing I learned with them. And if you try to cut them, they shatter pretty easily, even though they look very sturdy. So that kind of surprised me. I didn't expect them to shatter quite as easily. There are a lot of shells that I drill through, and I'm going to be doing several more tutorials on seashells and the different types and how to make jewelry out of them. So, yeah, I'm learning a little bit about the scallops. But you can find these pieces on the beach if you're on the East Coast, definitely. Where I'm at, you can find these pieces all over the place. And if you, I may make up bags of just these pieces. I don't know. I have bags of seashells on my website right now that you can get like a whole bag of all different types that I find on, they're all seashells I've picked up on the beach, so it's kind of cool that, but yeah, I don't know. But anyway, let's let this dry a little bit and we'll come back and we will finish them up and have some really unique pieces of seashell jewelry. So we'll be back in a few minutes. Okay, so we're back and I have a couple of fish hook ear wires and another pro tip, and I'm going to do this right now. If you feel like, I feel like my starfish on my pendant is flopping around an awful lot. Like, it's just driving me crazy. It's flopping everywhere. So I'm going to take a little dab of glue. Not much and not enough to show. And I'm just going to glue him right to that piece. It still looks like he's hanging because I want him to match the earrings. But he's going to be stationary there and not flopping all over like he was. So that, I think, is going to be a whole lot better for the starfish. And this pearl is bothering me. I really want to add one more on the bottom here. I know you guys are like, really, with the pearls? But I think it's just going to look better with two right kind of side by side like this. I wish I had a smaller one, but I don't. But I think I like that a little bit better. Okay, so we're going to let that dry. Let's go ahead with our earrings. I'm not doing anything else to them. I don't think that we need to glue them because they're just kind of, even though they flop around, you know, they're going to hang okay. So in order to put our earrings on, we need a couple jump rings, or ear hooks on. We need a couple jump rings. So I'm just going to put this one through here and be gentle still because, you know, this, even though it's set up, it, you know, it hasn't cured for the 24 hours that it really needs to be able to be solid. So just be gentle. And same thing over here. Having trouble hanging on to things today, aren't I? Fine motor skills are lacking today. I don't know why. Some days I do better than others. Oh, and I've got my thing flipped to the back too. That's not going to work. This needs to be flipped to the front when you put your jump ring on. Otherwise, it's going to be stuck back there. Okay. And then we're just going to put our ear hook on. Close that up, make it sure it's closed really good, and there we have our earrings. I think these are super cute, I really do. I know it was some trial and error getting here, but once you kind of learn how to work with the seashells, then, you know, now I'll know next time what I can and what I, you know, shouldn't do. So here's our pendant and our earrings. I'm going to hang the pendant right on the chain, just like this. I debated using some leather. Okay, so I have got my lobster. I have got my chain cut to 20 inches. I mean, it's 10 inches per side, so a total of 20 inches. Because I like something I don't want it to hang down really low. I want it to be kind of up high. If you hang it down really low, I think it's going to look weird. And so I'm just going to hook a ring on for my lobster to clasp onto. And I like to use these are like 16 millimeter jump rings. But it makes it easier to get it clasped. And I never, ever, ever wear my hair up, so it doesn't show anyway. So that's why I like to use these big ones. Because again, with the fine motor skills, sometimes I need a little extra help getting that clasped together. And if you have ever listened to my testimony, you'll know why I have trouble with my fine motor skills. But I have a video about that tells. And then on my Simply Jesus channel, my Bible study channel, I'm going to do my testimony again too. It really is a miracle, but I do have some problems with fine motor skills, and there's a reason for that. But anyway, here it is. So I hope it wasn't too frustrating for you guys. I know it was a trial and error kind of thing, but that's the reality of jewelry design and making things. It really is. You know, it's just that way sometimes. Now this guy, I kind of like him flopping around, but if you didn't like this moving, you could, again, put a dab of glue right there that would hold that stationary, and then you wouldn't have to worry about it moving. But I think these turned out really cute, and they're just broken pieces of shell that I found on the beach. So, you know, like I said, I do have bags of the shells available on my website. If you're interested, you can buy them off of there. But I hope this helps, and I'm going to be doing a whole series of these seashell jewelry videos. So if you haven't subscribed and rang the little bell, you won't know when I upload. So please subscribe, ring the bell, and we're going to be making some seashell jewelry in the future. All right, guys, I hope you have a great rest of the day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye. Okay, guys, so here it is. This is how it hangs. I really like it. I think it turned out super cute. I actually could put it up a little more in May. But there that is. Here are the earrings. And I really like this set. I think it's super beachy and just, yeah, I love it. So I'll probably be hanging on to this one. But like I said, there are bags of seashells on my website. If you're interested in those, you can purchase them. And there's Sadie asleep in her bed right there. So anyway, sorry for the long video, guys, but sometimes it's trial and error, and that's how it works. So you see the reality of it when I don't edit things out. And that's one reason I don't edit things out, because I like you to know that it's just as hard for me sometimes as it is for everybody else. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.